I started fishing the Deschutes somewhere in the mid 80s. Really started taking it seriously more in the late 90s. But, you know, and that was really centered more around the Salmonfly and the golden stone hatch. And it's, you know, it's such a treasure and it's such a treat to go be able to fish this hatch, you know, as often as I have been able to. I've been thinking a lot about this hatch lately as I've been fishing it over the last few weeks, and just thinking about how with the changes on the river, you know, what will this hatch look like in 10 years? What, with the amount that it's changed in my lifetime, what will it look like in 10 years? And I've really been starting to ask myself a lot of questions, and I think as anglers and as stewards, we should be asking ourselves these questions, you know. What's something you love, you know, that you treasure and you value so much and you want to see thrive for future generations, you know? What's it gonna look like in 10 years?
One of my more favorable, memorable experiences probably was about 4 years ago. Myself and a good buddy, we timed it just perfect. And the fishing was explosive. It was very technical. We were kind of leapfrogging each other, but we were getting into water that it was just fish after fish after fish. And they were very respectably sized native fish. And it made you a little overconfident that the next time you came out, oh, it's gonna be lights out. And then you come out next year and you're like, crap, I only got 4 fish or 5 good-sized fish and some smaller fish, etc. So I think you gain a really good appreciation that when you can time the hatch, it can be completely lights out, and then the next day it can just completely shut off. No rhyme or reason, and I'm still trying to figure it out, as I imagine every other fisherman that's in that area is trying to figure out. I'm doing nothing different today from yesterday, but it's a completely different environment. Maybe the temperature changed a couple degrees, the river's up a couple of inches, or it's down. I mean, the factors are endless, and I think that is what's so incredibly awesome about trying to solve this puzzle of fly fishing for native fish.
You know, I think the Chubby Chernobyl is such a ridiculous fly. You know, it just looks ridiculous. It shouldn't work, and it does. And especially on this hatch, it works so well, and it's so effective. And the fish go nuts for them. And, you know, every time in my head that I think that fly fishing is this like beautiful natural thing where we're trying to imitate nature, you know, along comes the Chubby Chernobyl and just, it throws that all out the window. And, but at the same time, you know, getting fish on them is pretty fun because they're generally large and they will generally just go after that thing like crazy. And I love that. I love it so much.
One of my favorite flies during this hatch, and it's kind of ridiculous, is a Chubby Chernobyl. It makes no sense. It defies a lot of logic, and I'm pretty sure the majority of fishermen agree that it defies a lot of logic. I've thrown, you know, real imitation real stones, yellow sallies, stimulators, all of the above, and you know, I've had pretty good luck with all those. But for whatever reason, the Chubby, it dominates out there. And again, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me how this big, obnoxious looking bug attracts a fish, but there is something about it that it does. And the cool thing about it too is if it's not attracting, tie a dropper on it and it's not gonna sink. It works well as a strike indicator in that regard if you have to go subsurface. And so, yeah, I still am kind of speechless when I see these big monster native fish. Hump. It defies all logic, and I've kind of given up trying to figure it out and just accept it for what it is, that fish are attracted to that ridiculous bug.
I think as anglers, you know, we're in a unique position where we're regularly checking up on the health of a river, and you know, just by the nature of being out there. And you know, without a healthy river, you don't have healthy fish. And without healthy fish, you know what? We're just standing there casting. So I think it's important for us to all really kind of come together and really, you know, champion for the health of the river and the health of the fish. It's something that I'm kind of constantly thinking about with the Deschutes and with other rivers. You know, what is it too late? You know, is it too late for these rivers? Have we gone too far? Is there anything we can do to sort of reverse the changes that, you know, the negative changes and the impacts that are a result of those changes? And I don't know the answer to that, but I think collectively we can come to an answer. And I think when we collectively come to that answer, that's when you start to see the tide shift and you really start to see change happen, you know, for the good.
You know, another major attractant, you know, to this river is the copious amount of native fish that can be found in it, from, you know, steelhead to very large red-side trout, suckerfish, the incredibly awesome whitefish. Don't hate on whitefish. And so when you get onto one of these larger fish, or frankly even, you know, a moderately sized fish, you know that it is from the area. It has spent its life there. It is in tune with the hatches that are going on, and that just really kind of creates that symbiotic relationship of fishermen, fish, nature, identifying the bug and trying to present it and attract that fish from maybe the bank or maybe from some ridiculous frog water that you wouldn't think this behemoth is hanging out in. And I think that's another really cool thing about that river is the components that you will fish one area and it might be riffly or pocket and you're crushing it, and then the next day that's not hitting, so you go try a bank or some backwater eddy foam line, and it's just a ton of diversity.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, we got a fucking tank on right now.
Get it out of the sticks.
Yeah, I see that.
It's important with something that you love and you cherish. If it's in peril, try to save it, you know? And really, for me, I think about the actions that I can take, but then I think about the actions that collectively we can take, because there are enough of us out there that care very deeply about this river. What can we collectively do and stand up and fight for so that it's not just within our lifetimes that we can continue to fish this river, but future generations can continue to fish this river on down the line, as has been done, you know, long before we ever got here. So I think that once we start to kind of come together and collectively call out things and go to make changes on things, that's when you actually start to move the needle a little bit or a lot. And not only do we as anglers benefit from that, we as society benefit from that.